Hola, hola, ¿qué tal? ¿Cómo están, amigos, amigas? Bienvenidos. Welcome once again to my home, to Lima, and to the beautiful Peru. And today we are starting officially a new series dedicated to another part of this beautiful country, another department, another city, and also more to discover basically in this country, more reasons for you to come to Peru in person or just keep reading and learning about this zone, this part of the world. South America is so beautiful. I hope eventually to give you the chance to also learn with me about other regions in the country, in my country, in Peru, and also other parts in South America. In today's occasion, as you already know, we are starting with a new series time about the jungle of Peru, the Amazon, and in particular, we are talking about what's there, what we can see in that part of the country, how different is the jungle of Peru to the other regions of the country that are a little bit more explored by travelers. It could be just because there's more publicity over Machu Picchu, over Cusco, over the mountain region of the country, or it could be because Lima is the home of the international airport, also home of very, very good cuisine. We are in the coast, so people just tend to come between like the coast and the Andes. And the jungle, the rainforest is not as visited as I think it should be. And it should be not just because it's a beautiful destination, also, there are so many things we can learn about the jungle life, how the indigenous societies of the Amazon, which are actually many, many along this series. We will be talking about the different indigenous groups that live in the jungle of Peru. Many of them are surprisingly so well adapted to their ecosystem and also have so many lessons to teach us. I don't want to delay anymore this event, and also to my friends who are going to watch this event as a like recorded format. You are always welcome to to comment. You can do it here on the chat. Hola Natalie, amiguita, ¿qué tal? Hello, hello, amiga. ¿Cómo estás? How are you today? Um, you can do it in the chat while the event is live. And if you're catching up with this series in the recorded format, you can leave comments, message. There's also a new tool that YouTube has offered me to be like a community, also connected via sort of like a chat section. There's a community tool there. I hope to learn more about it. I'm just learning about it. Yesterday, I was given this notification. In this section, not only me can send you messages, also you can write and ask me things and comment, or also talk among yourselves. Now we will continue with our series and of the region we are traveling to. So we are traveling to the Amazon river basin. Also, the Amazon River, the largest river, longest in the world, also starts or is born in Peru, in the department of Arequipa. Official investigations have discovered that the birthplace of the Amazon River, so meaning that the river or the point of origin is the most distant or to, let's say, to the end of the river, is here in Peru, in the South Andes, in Arequipa. The river takes the name Amazon of Loreto in the north part of the country, in the North Jungle. The Amazon Basin, Amazon River Basin, which is the largest in the world, is equivalent to 7 million square kilometers, and is fundamental, not just for, well, the climate of South America. It's fundamental for the climate in planet Earth. It's the biggest lung of the planet. So you can see several pictures. I'm trying to show you like how big is this zone. Oh, and also the Amazon, really the basin of the Amazon corresponds to several countries. Oh, so Bolivia, Peru, Ecuador, Colombia, Venezuela, Brazil, and part of the Guyanas and Suriname. So well, they are about, and I have this number over here because for me it's almost impossible to remember. In the Amazon basin, 600 billion trees. 600 billion trees exist in this section. And what these trees produce is something incredible. It's an effect that is called like rivers in the sky, which means like this humidity that is produced, this oxygen that is produced also by these trees, and the humidity exhaled by the trees also create, well, clouds in this section, which are very important to reverse, for example, the heating of planet Earth, because the clouds sort of like protect the soil from the direct sun radiation. So keeping the atmosphere cooler. Also, well, the amount of carbon that these trees absorb is incredible. I also have a note here: 1 billion tons of CO2 are absorbed by this part of the world, this Amazon basin, every year. Every year. So, how imperative, how important is for us to take care of this part of the world. And lastly, well, in percentage, the Amazon River basin is equivalent to 40% of South America. 40% is an enormity. So, well, now we are back to Peru, and in this series about the jungle, Peruvian jungle, we are going to travel to the department of Loreto. That's the name of the department. We have 24 departments in Peru. uh, Loreto is the biggest department we have in the whole country, as you can tell. And also, well, to give you an idea about the size of Loreto, the size of Loreto is approximately the size of Germany. Also, is that's the let's say the extent of this part is huge. It's a huge department, but there's of course very little amount of population in this zone because there's more like vegetation, trees, animals, and that's actually how we should keep it. So on the other side, well, you can see also that most of the department of Loreto consists in what we call in Peru low jungle. We have also a section that has what we call high jungle. So there are two different kinds of jungle. We have several microclimates, elevations, so we are not really going into further in detail about those elevations. But in a moment, I'll tell you a bit more about this, let's say, classification that I prefer to use that is a little bit more simple, also for you to understand, which was created in the 1940s by Javier, sorry, Pulgar Vidal. Javier Pulgar Vidal. So well, going back to the map, we can see that most of the department of Loreto is low jungle. Easily to float also by the constant rains. This is the rainforest, so rain is a norm in this location. And also notice that the rivers that eventually become the Amazon, which is like all they are colliding, all they are going in direction to meet the Amazon River. They are all formed in the Andes. So the Andes is so important for the existence of the Amazon River, and also the existence of, well, this Amazon basin. By the way, the Amazon basin, also to give you an idea of the size, because we're talking about like real big names, big numbers, basically. So the Amazon basin is the size of Australia. So just to give you an idea how big is all of this territory I previously mentioned. So, well, zooming in the Department of Loreto, Loreto has 8 provinces. The capital of the department is within the province of Maynas. The name of this city, the capital, is Iquitos. Iquitos is a historical, actually, city. Before the arrival of the Europeans, of the, like white men into this territory, Iquitos, as most of the cities that existed along the many rivers that are here, were not like developed with the infrastructures we imagine are part of cities. Even like if you compare them to the cities uh, back in the pre-Hispanic times in the Andes mountain range, or in the coast with the ancient societies of the coast that I have also, well, I talked to you about all of this in previous events. So we understand that those societies were quite developed in terms of infrastructure. They had plazas, they had temples, houses, terraces, and so on. Here, the jungle in general remain in a more pristine form, pristine way. I will not go in detail now about this, because in the future I'll be telling you more about the many societies that we have in the jungle and how they live also. And you will understand why they didn't need it to give a jump into building like temples and pyramids and so on. Everything they needed, the jungle gave them, or provided them of their necessities, no, or the things they needed. So that's why they still nowadays live in harmony with their mother nature. So, well, again, you can see, no, that the Department of Loreto, mainly a low jungle territory, has in this moment 1.8 million inhabitants. So it is a very, very little amount if you compare it to other cities, especially in the coast. The coast of Peru is where the cities tend to be bigger in population, and the departments also like fuller in people. Or like Lima, for example, has about 11 million inhabitants, and it's just a little fraction of the size of the full Department of Loreto. Um, well, also another thing is that the capital of Loreto, so this is the general population in the whole department, but the capital of Loreto, Iquitos, has about 480,000 people, more or less, living in this location. Very, very central, actually. And the city of Iquitos has direct connection with the Amazon River. Mhm. The general altitude of this territory, and in particular of Iquitos, is about 100 meters above sea level. That's about 340 feet above sea level. So, well, again, zooming in the city of Iquitos. The city of Iquitos is so interesting because let's say, the only of its kind, in the sense that, well, this city, and taking in consideration that it has almost 500,000 inhabitants living in it, is the only one in the world without road access into it. So to go from Lima to there, to go from Cusco, from Puno, from whatever point in the country, to go to Iquitos, you are forced to do it either by plane or boat, because there are no roads going directly into it. Mm. And why? Well, Iquitos is surrounded by jungle, and there is a lot of virgin jungle also near the city of Iquitos. Today we will talk about a reserve, Pacaya Samiria, very important also to understand. So building roads into Iquitos will completely the balance or the nature of the site, because we talk about like animals who are migrating, moving constantly from point to point. And if we build roads, like we will definitely affect the free movement of these animals. Oh, and also we have indigenous communities living in those locations, which are very important also because they are helping us to preserve well the ecosystem of those zones. They are the wise people. They are the ones who know we how to do, you know, to keep well the animals where they are, and also to allow them to continue their reproduction and so on. Also, what the depredation that could happen if us, well, modern people go, for example, like people will start getting into the wild jungle. There are minerals in that location. There's gold in the jungle, so that will be a reason probably to for some or to get into territories that they shouldn't. So if we haven't destroyed the Amazon yet, the jungle yet, is because there's no access. And sadly, humans are like that. We are by nature destructive. At least the Western people, like we are also modern people, westernized here in Peru. So sadly, like the only way to keep us away from that treasure is keeping things like this. So it takes really days to go from, for example, the main cities that have like until there, like connection, road connection from other cities like Yurimaguas, for example, Pucallpa. It takes days to go from those cities to Iquitos, and it's done by a boat usually. Like fluvial traffic is the one in this location. And because there are not so many like roads, and people really don't feel the necessity of using cars within the city of Iquitos. There are cars, but there are very few. So most of the times people move by motocar, as they call them, motocar or moto taxi, or maybe you know them better as tuk-tuks. So that's the way how people prefer to move. Not just because it's easier, also because sometimes the soil gets all flooded because of the rain. No, it's muddy. No, so with the motos and motorcycles, motocars and motorcycles, it's easier to move. Also, well, it's because of the climate. I have also dear friends of my family, an auntie who is from Iquitos. My mom loves also Iquitos, and they have mentioned several times to me like how hot it can get in the city of Iquitos. And to give you an idea, there's a chart also of information about how it gets, no? And if the temperature, for example, says like maximum could be 31 degrees Celsius, that is what will mark the thermometer. But the general sensation can be several degrees on top higher. Hola Manu, ¿qué tal? Buenas tardes, amigo. Be welcome. So the general sensation can be much higher, like let's say 35, 36 Celsius sensation, because of the humidity. The humidity is killer in Iquitos. So you just take a bath, you come out of the shower and you're sweating again, and that's how you go all day long. Okay, so well, is a very very extreme climate for those that are not used to those extremes. There's never really a winter like when they are in their, I don't know, 20 Fahrenheit, Celsius, 70s Fahrenheit, which is like the winter time there. well, you as a visitor can be like in shorts or in a t-shirt, and they are with jumpers, they have a beanie and gloves because they are not used to that extreme. For them that's very cold. Okay, so well, let's continue. And well, this is a very important also altitudes map I've been using all the way with you during this series. Well, this is it's a division of the country created in the 1940s by Javier Pulgar Vidal, a Peruvian geographist who tried to also explain in a more didactic way the elevations of Peru, and also not just the elevations, also the climates that are produced on each side of the Andes. So on one side, for example, looking to the west, we have, well, the mountains looking to the Pacific. We have several levels, let's say, several levels, 6 levels of altitudes that are affected by, well, the Pacific. Lima, for example, is in the region Chala, which is the first region and is the lowest. Well, on the other side of the Andes, we have other division, and that is the zone influenced by the Atlantic, which is so distant also from Peru. But it also creates a different situation, a different condition, taking in consideration that also we have lots of trees. As I said before, in the Amazon basin, do you remember how many trees I said? 600 billion trees in the Amazon basin. There are two altitudes in this location. Two altitudes. We have the high jungle. The high jungle is known also as Rupa Rupa. High jungle. Rupa Rupa comes from the Quechua word rupa, which means hot. Yes, imagine, Natalie. That's nothing, this. Just that's I have in my bag. Oh, oh no. Oh no, no, no. It should be seeing images as always. So let me refresh. I hope that I can also refresh. And well, were you able to see the images before? Were you able to see the maps, Natalie? I'll try to also open again. It says also, I have a message saying error. So let's also try again. No se ve. Oh no. As always, YouTube is playing games with me. Okay, my friends, can you see something? I just try to share. Ok, yes. Gracias, gracias. Gracias, chicos. Ahora sí, perfecto. Were you able to see images before? I just want to make sure because, on my end, I see the images projected. I have a little screen like this, which is supposed that this is what you see. And I see me on one extreme and the images. So, yes, I saw this. Okay, okay. I saw this as last one. Okay, perfect, perfect. Good, Natalie. What would I do without you, my friends? So that's why it's so important that you are with me, because if not, I continue speaking, thinking that everybody's seeing the images, but it's not the case. Gracias, thank you. Gracias, Manu. Gracias, Natalie. Thank you so much. So, well, here we are again in this map. Sorry, and I think I was saying something about the name Rupa Rupa. No? Rupa Rupa comes from the Quechua word Rupa, which means hot or warm. No? So those are the high jungle lands. No? Also, in Spanish, we call this territory ceja de selva. So in English, ceja is eyebrow, and selva is jungle, the eyebrow of the jungle. So we get into the jungle as we go down from the mountains. And the vegetation is denser and is really beautiful also. And then, well, we have the low jungle. And the low jungle is named Omagua also by this division of elevations. No? And Omagua, I'm certain that it comes from an indigenous language from the jungle. I couldn't find actually the name of the language because we have several languages in the jungle. And it means place where there's fish on the river. Or site where there's abundant fish in the river, Omagua. So Iquitos is definitely on the low jungle, already an elevation of more or less 100 meters above sea level. So, well, the Department of Loreto has both high jungle and low jungle, but only 10% of the Department of Loreto is in the high jungle. Near the departments of Amazonas, San Martin, for example, with limit with Loreto, there you can see the mountains. The temperatures are a little bit lesser hot in comparison to the low jungle. So in the high jungle, temperature average is 22 degrees Celsius to 28 degrees Celsius. And it has a characteristic flora and fauna. The beautiful orchids also in this part. Machu Picchu, for example, which is cataloged in the high jungle, the eyebrow of the jungle, has incredible orchids, hummingbirds, for example. And there is one very important bird that we have in this location that is known as the national bird of Peru. And by the way, in most of the Andean countries, the national bird of those countries is the condor. But we don't have the condor as the national bird, even though it's so important. Because in a pre-Hispanic societies, well, condors are considered also the link with the gods. Hola, hola again. Hello. Today has been a rough day with the internet. I'm really sorry. I cannot really fix much of that part on my end, but I'll try also to continue also sharing, and hopefully now you will be able to see everything. I just refreshed, and well, let's continue. Also, if you were not able to let's say, see my last image projected, that would be great. Yes, yes, Natalie, I'm here. I will never give up, never give up until the end. So, and you made a room in your day for being with me. So you deserve, well, like my several trials and retrials as much as possible. So please, Natalie, let me know if you can see the image. You should be able to see the low jungle. Mhm. Away for the answer. I was also saying that the temperature, yes, gracias, Natalie. The temperature in the low jungle is in average 32 degrees Celsius. 32 degrees is about 89 or 90 Fahrenheit. And can be also the temperature higher because of the humidity. And with the many trees you see there, you understand also how humid that zone can be. Well, so and there's lots of the jungle of Peru that has been, well, sadly ruined, damaged, destroyed, cut in recent times. The interest, like I said, the Western societies started to put or to see in the jungle territory started at the end of the 19th century, beginnings of the 20th century, when they realized that they could exploit from the jungle lots of products, especially like during the time of the boom of the rubber boom. Later in this series, I will tell you more about the rubber boom. But that's really the breaking point in the jungle, in the Amazon of South America, because Brazil or economy of the nations, but destroy completely the indigenous communities and the jungle, or the pristine and untouched jungle there. So that's why Peru's government, after seeing the destruction of many of these spaces, natural spaces, in the 1970s, decided to create protected zone, a zone of protection for species, for communities, which became the biggest reserve in the country. Oh, and is also one of the biggest in South America. Mm. The reserve's name is Pacaya Samiria. Pacaya Samiria. Of Pacaya Samiria is about 2 hectares. That is about 5 million acres. Mm. It is the size of the state of Massachusetts in the United States. Mm. So, well, to give an idea of the dimensions, no? The name Pacaya Samiria corresponds to the rivers Pacaya and Samiria in native language also. The rivers that flank also the two of the three sides. Basically, it looks like a pyramid or a triangle. Sorry. So the two rivers are named in that way in the late native language. So well, this is the location actually of the meeting of two rivers. The way how we know them is Marañón and Ucayali. Mhm. And the union of these rivers forms finally the Amazon River. So to go to Pacaya Samiria, well, it's not so far away from Iquitos, but still you have to be by car, by bus, also on a road to the city of Nauta. And then from that city, you have to take a boat into this location, into this protected zone. So what we can see there is, well, this is, I think, the closest I can get you into how the jungle, how the Amazon was before its modernization. Mm. Um, so Pacaya Samiria is usually referred to, this protected section, no, is usually referred to as the forest of the mirrors, uh, la selva de los espejos, or jungla de los espejos, the forest of the mirrors. And why? Well, it is something interesting, really, that occurs in this part of the country, and also with the rivers that we have in the jungle or in the Amazon basin. Um, well, basically, the water in the rivers is very dark. That's what produces the effect of mirror, of a reflection that is almost perfect of the sky. So what is really like the reason of this dark color of the water It's not dirt, by the way. It's actually like water where lots of different species live, and they are fully adapted to this type of water, to this sediment in the water. So the water in the jungle is dark because, well, every day there are like thousands of trees uh, falling into these rivers and disintegrating, decomposing. So this decomposition produces something called tannin. The tannins that, which is like a chemical, that are accumulated there, make the water look dark. Even though this is not like bad for the ecosystem, this is actually, it becomes in a way also like a element that nourishes the water for other forms of life to live there. But this produces this mirror effect, that that is also so beautiful. The forest of the mirrors. Most of the year you can see, well, the jungle like this with deep blue sky. One of the best locations also in the world to see stars is the jungle, because it has very little light pollution. So there's almost no lights, no cities at nighttime, no, in that reflect light over the sky, no. So that's why you can see clearly the stars if there's no rain, for example. And sometimes when the rain starts, the rain can last for days, no, it could be 1 hour, 1 day, 1 week, no, you never know. But also another interesting thing that happens in the jungle, in, for example, in Pacaya Samiria and in the rest of the Amazon, is that there are seasons when well, there is humidity, very very thick humidity. And this also reminds me very interesting stories from the first conquistadors who traveled into well, the Amazon, the river. Orellana, Francisco de Orellana, was the first one who, well, in the year 1542, I remember, discovered, well, the Amazon. And Francisco de Orellana, which also is the one who gave the name of Amazon to this section, and because he was so warriors who they were indigenous warriors who, because he saw them probably like having long hair, that, and indigenous people of these territories, they don't have really that much like dimorphism, like with men and women. We look quite alike also, indigenous people, men and women. It's not like the Europeans, where you see, for example, like men being like very very tall, women more like petite or little or slim, no. In the case of the Quechua people, Aymara people, and all the indigenous communities in the jungle, men and women have pretty much the same height and features. No? So, well, this Orellana, he didn't know if he was seeing men or women, but because he saw them having probably long hair or some decorations that looked like long hair, he thought those warriors were women. And he remembered also these legends, these old legends from Greek mythology, of these female warriors known as Amazon. So, well, he thought they were like the mythical Amazons, and that's how, well, the name was given to this region. Mm. Um, so, well, every time the Spaniards came into this territory, and they saw, well, the mist, the humidity being very thick like this, they started to be very afraid, because they believed that this dense humidity uh, brought them diseases. Mm. And there was sort of like a coincidence every time. Well, there was like this humidity, like this, very very dense. People started to get sick of what nowadays we know is malaria. Mm. And we know that the humidity didn't cause them any harm. What caused them harm was the Anopheles mosquito, that the female is the transmitter of malaria. So, well, that was the time also, well, when yet people didn't know about this disease. So, well, this is also, I want to share with you some animals that you can see in Pacaya Samiria, and also in the jungles. Of course, if you are lucky enough, in the jungles that surrounded the city of Iquitos. Well, the reservation was created with the intention of protecting these species, allowing them to live like free and wild. Indigenous communities. We have two indigenous communities, the Cocama Cocamilla and also the Shipibo Conibo. Those are both indigenous groups with their own language, own traditions that live in this location. So they are the number one helpers to the government to preserve the land. They know how to live there. They know when the species, for example, are starting to disappear. And also they continue, for example, surviving from the extraction of medicinal plants, also the recollection of different fruits that nowadays are also highly requested by people out of these locations. So they make a living from that. But they still live from the hunting and from the fishing. So they have this space to live in peace. So, well, the master of the jungle is the jaguar, known here as Otorongo. That's its indigenous name. By the way, the jaguar doesn't have like spots. The jaguar has like little flowers or rosettes in the skin. It's so beautiful. And jaguars were also portrayed in ceramics, in textiles from the pre-Hispanic times. So we know that societies from across the Andes, also even up to the other side, to the coast, they venerated the jaguar. They knew about the jaguar, even though they didn't live in the zones where the jaguar lived. The jaguars are very big. They weigh about 120 kilograms, and they are the biggest feline in the Americas. They are very big, bigger than pumas, actually. And a curiosity about the jaguar is that, unlike the regular felines, they love swimming. They love water. They are excellent swimmers. They actually don't like run fast like other animals of the same species, um, but well, they climb trees, and they also well like to attack like their prey, like when they find the opportunity, jumping over them. So the jungle also that don't allow them to run fast. They don't need to be like fast runners all the time, because this is a very dense jungle. So also another thing is that their cubs, the babies, are born blind. Oh. Gracias, Natalie. Gracias. The cubs are born blind, and they get to see like several weeks after they are born. So the mama jaguar needs to be with them all the time. So they are very, very dependent on their mothers. So, well, the jaguar. And another important spirit of the jungle, because jaguars are seen as protector spirits by the indigenous people. They have another important one, is the anaconda, also known as boa locally. So the boa is heavy, is big. It weighs up to 200 kilograms. And boas can, well, they are not really like that, let's say, active. They are way too heavy. They just lay underwater, usually just like with the head up, like, and a little bit actually over the water. So they have the eyes higher than the brain level, let's say. No, so in that way they just can, like, take that part of the head up and then go down inside. No? So in that way, they can be hiding for long periods. No? So they surprise actually their prey. They strangle the prey first, or they give a very strong hug to the animal they catch, and then after they eat it all at once. And if they eat something big, so they can eat, for example, capybaras, which are from this location too. I'll show you in a moment what's a capybara if you don't know what's a capybara. If you don't have a little one in the house, because all little ones know what's a capybara. So, well, if they eat like an animal like that, like a capybara or any other, they can be for months sometimes, like without eating, because, well, they just rest. They rest. They don't move. Also, they are susceptible to being attacked in this moment. But after eating, their digestion is very, very slow. And then finally, when they are hungry again, they go back to attack. So, well, they are not harmful for people, but there have been cases, very sad cases also, of children who have disappeared in playing in rivers, in the jungle. I mean, children from the indigenous communities, which are very, very free, and they go to there to play, that have sadly been eaten by well, anacondas. So they are capable to eat a small child. No? So, well, the mythology of the people in the jungle says that, well, the big protector of the jungle is a gigantic anaconda, or boa. And the name given to this gigantic animal is Yakumama, is the mother of all the cochas and the rivers, and she lives in the Amazon. Mm. And, well, she is way too powerful to be catched also by anyone. Yakumama. Other creatures, for example, you can see is the pink dolphin. This is one of the most solicited, let's say, animals to be seen by travelers, by tourists who are like trying to spot let's say, the top creatures of the jungle. So the pink dolphin, for example, by the way, when they are born, the pink dolphin is gray color. It's not pink. So they acquire that pink color over the passing of the time. Also, sun exposition. When it's like too hot the day, for example, and they come out, the skin is more pinkish. So probably like blood vessels also, and in part also their diet. So they are very, very smart people. They are partially blind. They don't see really much, and they don't need to see much because they use echolocalization, and also they use well, all the other systems of communication. They make noises, um, but the water in the rivers of the jungle is not transparent. So it's very, very dark. You don't really see much under. So they naturally, like, well, say, uh, sort of like lost the ability of seeing. Also, another thing is that these pink dolphins, they are very, very important in the legends of the people of the jungle. There's one that says that pink dolphins, every once in a while, uh, take the shape of humans, and they attract young women into the water. So, and they take these women with them. So, well, that's another interesting legend. And manatees, we have manatees also. There are, so far I know, 4 types of manatees that exist in the world, and just one of them is here in the Peruvian jungle. But the manatees are in big risk of disappearing. They are in big risk of disappearing. Sadly, that's related also because they are so friendly, and so they don't have any way to protect themselves. So once you catch one, well, there's no way for them to attack you. They just move the tail. That's it. And also their meat is considered to be very tasty in the jungle. So there are very little numbers of manatees in the Amazon, and we need to preserve them. We need to conserve also this species. We have a lot of paiche. This is the biggest fish of sweet water in the world, or freshwater fish in the world. The paiches are sort of like prehistoric fish. Uh, and with their scales also can be produced lots of different things. We say scamas, so this exterior part of the fish. We can do, for example, like earrings. Also, with the tongue of the paiche, once dried out, it could be used also in as a cooking element, also to grind, for example, garlic, because it has a surface that is very rough. So you can use it for as a tool or instrument for cooking. Mm. And we have also some species monkeys also. There are different kinds of them. The ones that you can see the most are the monochoro or woolly monkey. And the reason it's called like this is because it has lots of hair, woolly monkey. And also the mono aullador or howler monkey. Howler monkey is, well, the animal that produces the strongest, the loudest sound in the jungle. You can hear the howling monkey uh, from, let's say, 3 kilometers away from the location of these of these monkeys. Incredible. It's because of a natural form or the atrophy that was caused in the evolution of this monkey that made the thyroid section, where the thyroid is, much bigger. So that's what produces this very potent sound. Also notice that the monkeys of South America, which, by the way, they are connected to the monkeys of Africa. One theory says that the monkeys of Africa got into South America millions of years ago, when the continents were very close was one to another. So they did a jump from Africa into America. According to the specialists, this is something like, when I read it, it was really surprising to me. You can also verify this information. The information says that in a point when still the two continents were close, relatively close, but they were separated by water. So some monkeys travel to America by like holding to some form of like rough style trip, no, with, I don't know, some type of materials like wood, etc. So that's how the current took them to the other side. So, well, they were very smart indeed not to do that. And but the monkeys in this part of the world, they all of them have long tails. We don't have monkeys without long tails. And long tails are like fifth limb for them. Another one of my favorite is the mono guapo. Guapo means handsome also in Peruvian Spanish. But it's also known as a bald monkey because the face is all clear of any hair. Mm. And well, we have different types of them, the black one, the red one. They are very, very handsome, don't you think? We have also Sachavaca, that's the one on the left. Sachavaca comes from the local way to call, this animal like is similar to cows. Sacha from Quechua means similar to or like this. No? For example, we have the Sacha tomate, which means similar to the tomato. Mm-hmm. That's a type of, let's say, tomato from the jungle. It's not tomato, by the way. It's sacha tomate. In this case, this is a sacha vaca, similar to the cow. Vaca is cow. But they are not like cows, by the way. Actually, they are distant cousins to the horses, the sachabaca. Mhm. And on the other side, we can see the capybaras. Oh, this is a beautiful big family of capybaras. So if you hear about the before about the capybara, there was a time when every child had capybaras, capybara hats, capybara t-shirts, backpacks, etc. So, well, that is a capybara. No? So they are quite friendly, no? But a little bit nervous too sometimes. They are from the family of the rodents. They are related to guinea pigs, for example. Mhm. So they are a cousin to the guinea pig, but they are huge. They are big. They're the big size ones, or are like the size of a, I don't know, like a 12-year-old child, almost adult, and they are quite heavy. So and also the meat is consumed in the jungle. I have a different image of a cow. Yes, me too. Me too. People in the jungle were like Europeans there, were a little bit desperate, like for cows, and probably they saw them say like, oh, it looks like it looks like a cow. So let's see over here. These other creatures, predators, caimans and piranhas. By the way, the caiman, we have the black caiman here in the Peruvian jungle. The difference with a crocodile is that the caiman has a round, like a, let's say, mouth, okay, and the crocodiles are pointy, like a triangle. That's the difference. Mm? And the piranhas also can be lethal sometimes. They are big predators. They hunt in groups. We have also another curious creature is the shancho, or hoatzin, but locally known as shancho. The shanchos smell really bad. Okay, they have very, very bad smell. They don't have really predators because their skin smells really bad. They're like rumiants. They have an interesting system in their stomach, like cows, because like, they sort of like eat plants, and in the stomach they leave that to disintegrate or decompose. And also the leaves they usually eat, they are already in process of disintegration. So you are what you eat, right? So, well, that's the shancho. The shancho also looks like an animal from the time of the dinosaurs, right? And on the other side, you see the bullet ant. And the bullet ant, the sting of the bullet ant is very painful. Oh, it lasts for, so far I know, one full day of pain. I was trying to find out like how to compare the pain, the level of pain. So I found a pain scale named Schmidt, and they are in the 4 plus. So if you're familiar with that scale, well, now you know that. Well, hopefully you should never cross your path with the bullet ants. But they are not lethal for you. They will just cause lots of pain for 24 hours. And then later, well, it will go down. Unless you are allergic, which are very few cases of people being allergic to them. Other creatures. So we have, for example, the three-toed sloth. And also, the other one I forgot to put the name is a poisonous frog, also from the jungle, used by the people of the indigenous communities there to cover or impregnate with poison, which is in the skin. It's sort of like the sweat of these frogs, the one that has the poison, their darts, and in that way they can hunt also monkeys, for example. Mm-hmm. And here we see the guacamayo, or Macau. This one is the variety called scarlet, but in Spanish, the name of the Macau is red, blue, and yellow, which are the colors of the Macau. a little bit more like specific. In the pre-Hispanic times, people used to use the feathers, especially people of high status, of the macaws in the decoration or preparation of their clothes, especially the ones used as a preparation for the afterlife. And well, this is a bird that also is known as, gracias Natalie, a bird that was known for a long time as a mythical bird. Like to me, when I saw the first time, like this bird, learn about it, like it looks like a bird from a nightmare, right? It's not really that good looking, especially for the big eyes, or maybe particularly not for my taste. Some people might find it cute. The name of this bird is Ayaymama, and the reason is because of the sound it makes. Ayaymama. Oh, that's the sound, more or less, of the sound, or let's say of the singing of this bird. So this bird has the natural way of protection is staying still in one position for long periods of time. So that's something natural that this bird has. You can see sometimes pictures of, the babies also standing still, like in the same position as if they were like piece of the wood, for example, coming from a tree. So in that way, they don't call the attention of predators. Well, the Ayay Mama is also because it's so good, like pretending being wood, that is very hard to see them. Now you need really long time to spot one of them. And last but not least, and these were just my personal selection of birds from the jungle, especially from Pacaya Samiria in Loreto, is the white condor, Condor Blanco, but also known as king vulture, which is the biggest vulture we have in Peru. And well, it's very heavy, it's very big, and also is the one that really cleans the jungle. They get rid of the animals who die, so because they are scavengers, and they are also very much respected by other vultures because they coexist with black vultures and red-head vultures, and he's the absolute king of them there in the jungle. Very hard to spot them because also they fly very high, and in those altitudes, like if you are like down on the ground level, you don't see the white color. It's way too hard, and seeing them on trees is harder even. Mm? Is that the same as Elizabeth showed us? Oh, very good question. I didn't know that Elizabeth mentioned like this. I hope you're referring to the condor, right, Natalie? Well, the king vulture lives exclusively in the jungle. So if she went to the jungle, or maybe she shows some images of condors in Peru, probably like this was the one. But there is also another condor, the condor of Colca, the condor of the Andes, which is the one also you can see in Arequipa. Well, amigos, thank you so much for your participation. Sorry for the ups and downs in the internet, something that unfortunately I cannot control much. I hope you enjoy the watching it live or seeing the replay. All the videos, the rest of the videos of this series are in my Patreon. You can find me on Patreon as History with Vanessa. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters who are also, most of them, watching as a replay. My PayPal supporters also of the month. Thank you so much for your support, for your love. Really means a lot to me. Gracias, Natalie, for being here also today. And well, I hope to see you very soon. We have let's stop here, Sherry. We have in 2 days the continuation of this one. We're going to talk about medicinal plants and communities in the jungle. And well, the idea is to continue progressing later with the history of the Spaniards in the jungle, the rubber boom, and more. Also, I want to invite you all tomorrow. Gracias, Manu. Qué placer. Gracias por estar acá. Tomorrow, I have an event on World Virtual Tours about, well, the history of Christmas in Peru. See, so I will not be streaming it here. I'll be in World Virtual Tours. I hope that you are also there following the tours of also my colleagues, my fellow colleagues. And well, the idea is also support other wonderful guides also there. So if you can, please follow World Virtual Tours. This event is free to join and just keep supported. Mm-hmm. Oh, no problem, no problem. I definitely hope, Natalie, you can see the replay. See? So, thank you, amigos. Gracias a todos. Thanks to you all for being here with me. And until next time, until in 2 days, when we will continue also with this series. Have a lovely rest of the day. Big hugs to you all. Happy Thursday. Feliz jueves para todos. See you. Bye bye. Ciao, amigos.